Coming to you live from the KDWN studios on South Durango, Pawn Talk Live. Hosted by the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney, and the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas, Michael Mack. Call in at 257-5396. That's 257-5396. And find out what your valuables are worth from the top expert in the pawn industry. Now, Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
Yeah, welcome to Pawn Talk Live, right here on News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave, and he's Michael Mack. Oh, wait a second. No, you're not Michael Mack.
Michael Mack is getting married.
Woo!
Is it this weekend or next week?
I don't know. That's a tough
Sometime
one.
this.
He's getting married in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, to his lovely wife, Kat, in North Carolina.
That's
so
right.
Congratulations to Michael Mack. So he's going to be off the show for a couple of weeks.
Yep, but that's okay because we've got Antique Andy joining us today at 2:30. Antique Andy is going to talk to us, Chad, about some interesting items floating around right now. There is the first ball Babe Ruth hit out of Yankee Stadium up for auction. And we've talked about things for auction on this show a couple of times. You know, Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone. Most recently.
Had to work that in, didn't you?
Absolutely. I'm not throwing a quarter into the jar either because this is all in the name of the show. And here we look at a baseball. First one Ruth hit out of Yankee Stadium. What do you think this thing could fetch?
Millions, I would think. Is that $1 million ball?
I don't know, 2, 3. I mean, Dylan's, piece of paper he wrote down lyrics on went for 2. I mean, and this is a piece of not just Yankee history, but baseball history.
Yeah, it's the house that Ruth built,
yeah,
which now is no longer there. I mean, they made a replica across the street, basically.
It's the house that Alex Rodriguez destroyed.
So, exactly.
Yes.
So, I would say that it's probably worth even more, and I guess it depends on the Yankee nut that's out there that's willing to, or that has the means to. I mean, this thing could go for a couple million.
I think so. I mean, listen, if we're looking at, a Honus Wagner baseball card, which we've seen plenty of these go for high $100,000 ranges. Mickey Mantle's rookie baseball card gone for over $100,000+. And Babe Ruth stuff, what little there is of it. I mean, there's a lot of autographed Babe Ruth memorabilia because he did do a lot of signings in the later part of his life. But something like this, it's almost invaluable. You think about, I mean, Baseball Hall of Fame is probably, if the right kind of guy or gal buys this is where I would want to donate it.
Well, see, this is part of the reason why we have TV shows like Hoarders, though, right? Because you never know what's going to be worth lots of money.
Right.
So you might get that in your head that I can't throw anything away because you never know what's going to be worth millions of dollars down the road. Now, most stuff, 99.9% of stuff that you keep is not worth anything. But occasionally, obviously, you would probably know if this was Babe Ruth's first home run ball. It's probably going to be worth something. And if you have a Honus Wagner baseball card, it's worth at least $25 because the guy's name is Honus.
Right.
But, I mean, there are some of those kinds of things where, some of the stuff that we talked to those guys down at Sahara Coins about. Some of these coins that you may have that your father gave to you, you don't even think about. You put them off to the side, they're in the attic or whatever, and then you run across them one day, you look in the red book, and oh my God, it's worth $300,000.
Yeah, no, I mean, my dad used to pay my allowance in Canadian quarters, totally screwed me. I'd try to go, use these things, and people just throw them right back, like, what are you doing? Get out of here with these.
And one of the things I want to ask Antique Andy is, I mean, obviously she's looking for gems out there. When she goes to yard sales, she's looking for those special items that can garner a lot of money in the right market. And obviously, to do something like that, you really have to have somebody on the other end of that transaction that doesn't really know what they have. Correct?
No, that's absolutely true.
So, I mean, before I have a yard sale, I would maybe look through all my stuff and get an idea of basically what it's worth out in the world. Not to you, because obviously it's not worth anything to you at that point.
Not
you're trying to get rid of it.
Right, sure.
But how much it's worth to somebody else. And so Antique Andy is one of those people that can take that and grab it and look at it and go, yeah, that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think you and we were talking the other day, maybe this was at lunch or before one of our other shows, and we thought of a great television program that we could get Andy involved in called Garage Sale Grannies. And, I wonder, is there a market out there? And we'd love to hear from you today, 702-257-5396. Is there a market for a show like that? What do you think?
Well, I mean, you have American Pickers out there.
Yeah.
You have the ones that deal with the storage unit, Storage Wars, which are similar in the sense.
There's Container Wars as well.
Container Wars, which is similar in the sense that you have something that's left somewhere. You don't know exactly what it is. So there's that little bit of not knowing and anticipation when you open it up and then to find out all those kinds of stuff. But, I guess it would be similar to American Pickers, but I guess it's really about Antique Andy. I think she's got a great personality. If you team her up with another, older lady that likes to go to garage sales. That could be an interesting show, and they fight over items to each other. The bickering wars between the person selling and her buying. I think that could be fun.
I see this as a reality version of the Golden Girls, and if we can get Betty White involved, all the much better, because I don't care what goes on now. If it deals with somebody in Betty White's age range, I want her in it.
Well, Betty White is amazing.
She's fantastic.
And I'm not sure. Is she the only Golden Girl still living?
I think
B. Arthur's dead.
I believe, yes, B. Arthur did pass away.
The lady that played Blanche Devereaux. I can remember her character name, but I can't remember her real name.
Was she the original GILF? I mean, was Blanche Devereaux the original GILF?
She might have been, because she was quite a sexy older woman.
I remember the sweaters that she used to wear. I mean, it was why when I had to watch Golden Girls with my grandmother when I'd go over to spend the night at her house.
You loved it. Are you kidding me?
That's why I loved it.
Was it right after, or it was right before, or it was right after probably the back-to-back Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, right into the Golden Girls? Because I think my grandma loved that.
Yeah, as well. Absolutely. And then before Dallas. Don't forget, Dallas was the capper right there.
But my grandma really loved her favorite show, and she would never miss, was Murder, She Wrote.
Ooh.
Could never get into that.
That's a tough one there. Yeah, Angela Lansbury.
Too dry for me.
Thank you. I just little English drawing room dramas. No, thank you. But speaking of antiques, prizes, things that you might have just stumbled across, you didn't even know were there. We've got some for you today here on Pawn Talk Live Chat, and we're going to be giving away 2 different sets of family 4-packs to tomorrow night's game at the Cashman Center. Las Vegas 51s playing the Albuquerque Isotopes. Now, these are extremely good seats. These are what you might call reserved or special seating. They come to us courtesy, of course, the Mack family, part owner of the Las Vegas 51s baseball team, and, of course, co-host here of Pawn Talk Live when he decides to show up. But we've got these 2
He's
family
getting married.
4-packs.
Give him a break.
That's all right. I can get him because we didn't give him a bachelor party. He said he didn't want one this time. So we said fine, and that's how we get to bust his butt.
Well, guys have to understand, okay, when you're the guy getting married, the bachelor party is not for you.
No.
It's for us.
That's
it's for
right.
your buddies.
You know what?
You don't even have to show up, honestly. Just give us an excuse to get some strippers.
As a matter of fact, if we could just get the credit card and then have him not show up, that might even be better, because at that point, you talk about the gloves are off, everything's off.
True, and he doesn't get in trouble.
No, see? Look
Plausible deniability.
Look at how we're saving your marriage, Michael. When you hear this back on replay, go to pawntalklive.com and download the latest episode. When you hear this on replay, just know that we had your best interests at heart, okay? But like I said, again, 2 family 4-packs of tickets to tomorrow night's game, Las Vegas 51s versus the Albuquerque Isotopes. Number to reach us here in studio, 702-257-5396. That's 702-257-KDWN. The first pair, Chad, we're going to give to our second caller, the second caller that buzzes us here at 257-5396, and I'm sure we will be getting that call on the other side of this break. But again, really, really great seats. The game tomorrow night is at 7:05 p.m., and we've talked about it a number of times over the last couple of weeks in the last month. The Las Vegas 51s are a no-joke good baseball team.
They're 15 games above 500. They're 9 games above their next competitor in the Southern Division, the Pacific Coast League. I believe it's El Paso. And they're 12 games ahead of Albuquerque. And they won last night, I believe. They split a 4-game series with Reno, winning last night 9-4. But, yeah, they're on fire. Wally Backman is no joke. They've got some great guys on the team. They have some guys that have moved up in the major leagues. I mean, this is becoming the powerhouse in AAA baseball.
That's right. Well, the PCL, the Pacific Coast League, I mean, the top destination for guys right before they go to the majors, has long been one of the most competitive minor league divisions that there is, and across any sport, hockey, baseball. I guess that's only the 2 that really have minor league sports. Basketball's gotten into it, but the top levels of competition, the PCL has been really the epitome of that. And the Las Vegas 51s and the Stars before that have suffered for years and years, basically as cellar dwellers. So it's really nice to see Wally bring an attitude of winning into this organization, instill it in the players, and actually make it enjoyable for the fans to go out and support this team, because you know how hard it is for 161 games to support a team that is just not doing well.
Well, exactly. And then on top of the fact that, you're in an older stadium, I know we're going to rectify that, but it's 100 degrees outside. So you have all these factors that you have to battle, but if you're losing, it's even tougher. When you're winning, it makes it a lot easier. And I think it's great that, the Mets organization is still together with the 51s, and Wally Backman is the skipper. It's good stuff.
No, it is. And I think Wally might be here on a shorter stay than we might have thought when he first came to town because he's doing so well. But when we come back from this break, we've got our winner online with the second caller of the day here at 702-257-5396. And later on, Chad and I are talking top 10 things you might not have known about Pawn. Stay with us.
And at 2:15 in the Kidon Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, Interstate 15 southbound. An accident there north of Charleston has the southbound 15 side backed up for a couple of miles. You might want to use some surface streets through there. 95 northbound at Charleston, the number 1 and 2 lanes are affected, so you want to stay to the right. That transition ramp from 95 south over to Interstate 15 southbound, that's bumper to bumper. It's going to take a while. 215 west at Rainbow, that's in the intersection. Also 15 south, the Lake Mead off-ramp, and North 15 at St. Rose Parkway. From the Kid on Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
The Nevada congressional delegation shares the latest from Capitol Hill on the Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce Show, Sunday mornings at 7:30, here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Happy Friday. This is Chad Forster from Pawn Talk Live and live in Las Vegas to give you today's Precious Metal Report. Brought to you by Max Pawn of Las Vegas, located on the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones. Well, the market is still holding bull territory with gold, silver, and platinum all up from week to week. Today's precious metal prices: gold's at $1,335, silver $2,141, and platinum is well over the $1,500 mark, currently sitting at $1,510. Do you need extra cash this weekend? Visit Max Pawn to sell your unwanted gold, silver, platinum, coins, diamonds, watches, art, antiques, designer handbags, and more. For free phone estimates or questions, call 702-253-7296. That's 702-253-7296. Or check us out online at maxpawn.com. Max Pawn, where luxury meets value. Open every day from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the corner of Sahara and Jones. Have a great weekend.
If you're looking to lower your mortgage payments and been turned down elsewhere, you need to listen to Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels this Sunday from 6 to 7 a.m. Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
All right, welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave. Chad sitting in here for the world-famous Max Pawn owner Michael Mack, who is off on, let's call this a marriage and honeymoon at the same time, because I don't know if he's going to be able to get a chance to go back out on the road because they're so busy over at the store. But we're going to call this his marriage and honeymoon altogether in South Carolina. Congratulations again to Michael and Kat for tying the knot. A braver man than I. Let me just say.
You're next. You're next. Come on.
If we're talking about Final Destination next, you might be right. That's what I'd be next in line for, buddy. Don't go selling me down the river so quick.
Mark my words, in a year from now, I have a feeling Dave might be doing the same thing. I don't know if he'll be going to South Carolina, but getting married, I could see. I'm just saying I could see it happen.
All right. Well, listen, you know what? Stranger things have happened, I guess. Not in my life, not yet, but we'll see. On the line with us right now, our first winner of the day. Oh no, he dropped off. And you know what?
It happens.
That's too bad. Joel, I hope Joel can call us back. Joel, the number again, 702-257-5396. Now, Joel was going to be the winner of these Las Vegas 51s baseball tickets, and he also, Chad, had a comment or wanted to talk to us about our garage sale granny idea. I mean, apparently somebody listening to us thought the show had a little bit of legs.
Well, because this guy's smart. He knows what's up. I mean, that thing does have legs. I think we could get this thing on the air and make a little money off of
You
it.
know,
Antique Andy, I'm sure, would love it.
I'm all for another show in our arsenal. It's not like the 362 that we're doing every day now aren't enough. If we could put one, commercial television show in there, that'd be awesome.
Well, if it's a big hit, then we can whittle it down to one.
That's true.
I mean, let's be honest.
Good point. But what about our labor of love? How would we? We couldn't.
Well,
leave.
we'll still do
leave
this.
daytime radio.
Yeah, we'll still do this. We're doing Live in Las Vegas next.
That's right.
But next week we'll be on at this time.
That's right.
If anybody's confused. So, good old JD, Jerry Doyle, went on vacation. We kind of filled his spot that first hour for a little while. But now we're moving back to 2 o'clock, which will start on Monday.
Yep.
But today it's going to be 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Yeah. So again,
I'm even confused, but it's all right.
It's kind of like that X-Men movie Days of Future Past, in which everybody's just
it's
like, huh?
How old are you? And
What?
what person are you? And what
Exactly.
part of the movie are you from? I'm not sure.
Didn't I just meet you in the toy aisle number 3 right next to the action figure for Captain America? But again, guys, number to reach us here in studio, 702-257-5396. And now that Joel's dropped off here, I'm going to give away his pair of tickets, okay? Because we needed to cue him up. So, Joel, sorry, give us a call back here if you want to get yourself back on. But again, 2 pairs of family 4-packs and really, really great seats. These are reserved seating. You got to go to appreciate them. But once you do get there to Cashman Field, you'll see what it is we're talking about. Lots of fun stuff. And again, 51s are playing incredible baseball. Now, Chad, going over the world of pawn, we have found some really, really cool pawn news this week. Stuff that we want to talk about here because it's items that don't come into pawn, consignment, or secondhand stores often. A medical examiner in Seattle, okay, confirmed that 3 skulls, human skulls, were recently donated to a thrift store. One of these skulls, as a matter of fact, was found to be a very old skull, Native Americans, apparently over, a couple of thousand years old. What do you think about this? Is this something that you'd find in a pawn shop?
I wouldn't think so, and I would think if you brought it into a pawn store, they would probably be somewhat alarmed, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I mean, you could be liable for that, I guess, or something. I mean, who knows? You think you want to get down to the bottom of that?
Well, yeah, and apparently
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's
but how much do they get for
it?
Weird.
You know what? Unfortunately, they don't really go into. Oh, it looks like what is this?
$5,000 loan on a head, or how much you get? How much you get on that?
Yeah, it was basically $5 a head. No, it doesn't really go into how much they were getting because they donated them. Like I said, donate them to a thrift store. Maybe they got some credit, some shopping credit.
I wonder what Michael Mack would give for one of those.
I don't know. If you've
free
ever
popcorn?
Listen, maybe more than that. Here's the thing about these skulls: you could work up a total gimmick where you're like, "Have you ever had your mind blown?" No. Well, we can do that for you here at Max Pawn. You put the skull on display and you spark it up. Maybe some fireworks, a jack-o'-lantern-esque type deal.
This is Dave's marketing mind, always at work, 24/7.
Well,
I love it. I think that would work. I mean, if you got to make what do they say? Lemonade out of lemons. That's how you would do that.
That's right. Yeah, you turn that lemonade, and then you know what else you do that? If you're Michael Mack, you turn that lemonade into a lemonade stand.
Exactly. It's 100 degrees out. You probably make a lot of money.
Make a lot of money off of that, and then when people come back, you say, "Listen, I'll give you a loan on your cup, and this next drink's only half price."
I wonder. I mean, I'm guessing that this happens a lot at pawn stores. Weird items that get brought in off the street, and people are, the people that are behind the counter, they probably see it all the time. And I'm wondering, the best way they handle that. I mean, you have to be, I guess you have to be courteous, but I mean, some of the stuff could be like, just get the hell out of my shop. Is that a human? You're bringing a human skull in here. What do you think you're going to get out of that? Come on.
And you figure that the pawn shops have to run everything through a police record, right? So does this take a different turn when it's a human skull? Does it go through the homicide pawn department? I mean, hey, listen, we got in another appendage and or head, in this case, an actual top of the body. Who do we talk to about this? Listen to see if you're missing any heads.
You remember that famous scene in Gangs of New York? I don't know if you remember this, where they go
definitely.
to that ship to steal that stuff, and they end up taking a dead corpse out of it because all the stuff was gone, and they donate it to, at that time, medical science.
Absolutely. That was a great ploy. That was when the gang with Leonardo DiCaprio was getting strong.
Well, sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to look at a situation and go, what can how can I get at least something out of my effort? So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You
know what? Sometimes you do. You got to do what you got to do. And in this case, let's just hope that the do was done so long ago that nobody actually has to, has to take the fall or go down.
We don't
for
need
something
jail
like
time.
This.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're donating skulls, you're just kind of hoping that it's not going to get you hemped up, right? Again, number to reach us here in studio for these Las Vegas 51s tickets. We've got 2 family 4-packs. 702-257-5396. 702-257 KDWN. Now, Chad, we're also going to give away a little bit later on in the show and I don't know if anybody's really interested, but it is a cool band, House of Blues. The Spasmatics. You ever been to see them? I have not only been to see them, but I've been involved in a mini event where they have performed, and they are fantastic. High energy. Obviously, playing a lot of 80s music, which is, 80s was that genre of music where it was just kind of feel good. Everybody was bubble gum, and we're having a good time, and nobody's really that angry. And then we went into the 90s, and everybody wanted to commit suicide for some reason. So, the Spasmatics, they really put together a great set, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that actually, the whole reasoning behind the 80s and the 90s mood swing was cocaine and then getting off of it. So during the 80s, everybody was bouncing around. In 90s, it was withdrawal, and it was a lot less fun. The sad part is that there's probably a little bit of truth to that. No, there's a lot of truth to that. What are you talking about? Everything I say is partially true. Well, I'm not saying it's scientifically you can necessarily prove that, but I think you're probably in the ballpark. That's all right. Hey, listen, we've got Joel back on the line with us. Right. And hey, Joel, thanks so much for picking back up the phone, giving us a buzz here on Pawn Talk Live. You're obviously the winner of the first set of Family 4 tickets to the Las Vegas 51s game, and you also had a comment about that garage sale granny show idea.
Oh, yeah, I think that'd be great. I'm really into garage sales and auctions, all kinds of stuff like that. Last week, I just went to a yard sale, garage sale, actually, and I picked up a stack of Western prints. I forgot the name on it because I just, listened to you guys on the radios last week, but they're like out of the late 1800s, early 1900s. It looked like some type of prints, old Western prints. I'm probably drop them. I don't know if the Pawn Stars, they do anything with art like that? Well, you should definitely take them by Max Pawn. You can pick up your family 4-pack of tickets while you're down there and have somebody down there take a look at them and get them evaluated. Yeah, but great. To answer your question, prints, art, all that stuff, yes, it's a big definite yes. As long as it's got the requisite kind of panache, or perhaps it's even from the right kind of a time frame, you could walk away, my friend, with tons of cash. I never really thought before I started doing this show about 3 years ago with these guys that prints of famous paintings or even limited edition prints could fetch the kind of money that they do. It really is incredible, the kind of rarity that even prints have. Wow, yeah, I was looking online, and one of them I knew was Tom. I just forgot the last name, Thomas something. One of them at a Smithsonian. So I don't know what the value is on it. So I'm going to drop those by next week. Maybe you can get a peek at those and see if there's any. Yeah, if it's a Thomas Kincaid, you might be onto something here, Joel. Because if that's what you're thinking about, yes, those are definitely worth a lot of money. But again, you've won a family 4-pack of tickets to tomorrow's game over at Cashman Field, Las Vegas 51s, Albuquerque Isotopes. These are great seats, Joel. I hope you have a blast. Great. Can I send my coworker down to grab those? I'm on the opposite side of town. I don't get out of here at about 7 o'clock. Yep. You know what? Tell our producer off air who that is, and we'll go ahead and get that worked out for you. Okay. Okay. Great. Perfect. Right. I appreciate it. Hey, thanks a lot. You're talking about prints. I think I saw somewhere where the RoboCop, the first edition RoboCop movie poster, went for like $30,000 or $40,000. So you're right. It depends. Again, it all depends on who the person is on the other end and how geeked out they are about these kinds of things. Absolutely. Well, and that's the cool thing too, Chad, about working with Max Pawn. And again, if you're just tuning in here to Pawn Talk Live, Joel's been our first winner of the day, and we're going to give away another family 4-pack of Las Vegas 51s tickets later on in the game. Later on in the show. I'd love to say this. You've got LeBron on your mind. Well, that's a big story we're going to be talking about soon enough, my friend. I've been devouring as much as that as I could all day. But when you think about a place to really move an item like that, sometimes you don't think of a pawn store because you're like, well, it's really not going to get me the top dollar that I'm looking for. It's not going to fetch what I'm looking for. At the same time, I don't really have an eBay account, and I don't know how to manage that. What do I do with this? Well, Max Pawn offers a great consignment program, so you can get as low as 20% consignment rate. It depends on, obviously, what the item is and how much it'll fetch, but they do have the lowest consignment rates in town, and because of that and their reach online via, they've got stuff on their own eBay store, buya.com, maxpawn.com. Their reach is so large that they sell the items in generally 7 to 10 business days and for the dollar amount that you're looking for. So you get to set the price. If you see a print and it's a Thomas Kincaid and there's a value on it of $5,000, but Michael and the crew's only going to give you $3,500, you want $5,000, well, you put it on consignment. Let these guys work their magic. I hate to sound ignorant, but you guys were talking about Thomas Kincaid. I'm not familiar. Thomas Kincaid is a big name. So when you see that, so for other people out there that are listening, and maybe they're like, I have some prints, some old Western prints, and
That does sound familiar. You should go look at them. So if Thomas Kincaid's on it, you have a good chance of it being more valuable.
Yeah, you do. And I mean, a lot of this, like we were talking about with Joel, and you have to take a look at serial number, issue date, do a little research before you kind of jump out there ahead of yourself. As you know, that can be tough to do sometimes, though, because even some of the best research, like your $100,000 coin potential the other day that went sailing down the road, but you look at stuff into your best estimation before you go get it evaluated. It looked like it could have been something.
Absolutely, and that's why we have these kinds of experts, and that's why you and I deal with these kind of guys, and we have relationships and do business with them, guys at Sahara Coin, guys at MaxPawn, because those are the kind of guys that you're going to be able to take it down. They're going to be honest with you. Ray down at Sahara Coins is going to go, you know what, honestly, that's not really worth that much money or your effort, but you know what, hey, we'll buy it for this much, or you know what I mean, or you know what, go on an eBay account. I mean, these kind of guys, that's what they're going to do. So that's why we have experts.
Absolutely, you're right. All right, we're going to be back with another one of our resident experts right here on Pawn Talk Live. Antique Andy joining the show. Stay with us here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
First Med Health and Wellness Center provides comprehensive, preventative, and primary health care services to low-income families of Las Vegas. Services include women's health and prenatal services, behavioral health, dental and cancer screenings, sports physicals, and home visits. Go online today to see the complete list of services at firstmednv.org or call for an appointment at 702-731-0909. 702-731-0909.
Local, the dawn of today's talk radio. News Talk 720 KDWN, Las Vegas, where locals come to talk.
AP Update. I'm Diane Kepley. There's no let-up in the attacks and counterattacks between Israel and militants in Gaza. And despite calls for a ceasefire, at a news conference early today, Prime Minister Netanyahu said he will not give in to international pressure to halt the airstrikes until militants stop firing on Israel. At the White House, there is an appeal for a ceasefire. Spokesman Josh Earnest.
It's understandable that the political leadership of that country would want to do everything that they could to protect their citizens. That's certainly within their rights. What we are urging is we're urging some restraint.
Meanwhile, in Jordan, Palestinian supporters turned out today to call for an end to the airstrikes.
Whatever our religion is, whatever our nationality is, whoever we are, we have to stand up together because this is a pure humane issue.
An estimated 100 people have been killed in the fighting that began several days ago. AP Update. I'm Diane Kepley.
The news brought to you by MyCleanPC.com. If your computer is running slow, go to MyCleanPC.com and get a free computer diagnosis. In minutes, you can activate MyCleanPC software to clean out the junk that may be slowing down your computer. Increase your computer speed today with MyCleanPC.com. That's MyCleanPC.com.
It's 2:32 in the Kid on Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. Tough day on the freeways. Interstate 15 southbound to Lake Mead off-ramp. South 15 at Prim as commuters from California make their way for the weekend. Northbound 15, that's north of St. Rose Parkway. A road hazard there, 15 north south of Charleston. 215 westbound, that's at Rainbow in the intersection. 95 northbound, that's at Charleston, affecting the number 2 and the number 1 lanes. Durango and Pebble, and a hit-and-run Charleston at Sloan. From the Kid on Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous MaxPawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, MaxPawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at MaxPawnLV.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous MaxPawn, where luxury meets value.
Kid, if something in this facility breaks, bends, or bursts, Granger's got our back. 20 cases of disc springs from Granger.com, new rotary encoder ordered on Granger's mobile app, a dozen splash goggles from the local Granger branch. What more could you want in life? Granger has over 1 million products for all our facilities' needs. 1 million. That's a 1 followed by 6 zeros, kid. Everything we need whenever we need it. Get it? Got it? Good. Call, click Granger.com, or stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
This next song goes out to someone real special. Web developers. You've developed a worldwide web of convenience, and Geico.com is eternally grateful. Now everyone can pay bills, manage policies, maybe save big money on car insurance, all from the comfort of their desk chairs, recliners, and waterbeds. You're magicians with wands made of binary code, and that's why we're sending this next song out to you. For a free rate quote, visit Geico.com.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live. I'm Dave Carney. That was Michael Mack drumming from his place in South Carolina. Chad Forrester sitting in for him today. Good show, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry. Inside joke. No, we're just happy. You know, we really are happy to be here and to be able to, you know, say on 50,000 watts of power to congratulations to Michael Mack and his beautiful wife, Kat. Well, soon to be wife. I guess they're not quite married yet. But
Not
South
yet.
Carolina, we're kind of glad. I think that weather has cleared up. Is he going to be all right when it comes to that?
No, it looks like looks like everything's in good shape.
Besides
right
the
now.
polar vortex, which I don't think will affect down that low.
That's the only thing that we're all a little bit worried about. But the polar vortex is meaning a 7th season for Lost, so we're very excited.
I don't think that's on the air anymore.
No, that's what I mean. They're going to bring it back because of the polar vortex.
They did the same thing with 24. It went away, and then they brought it back. Why can't they do Lost?
I don't know.
Lost again.
Still lost.
Look at this. We have garage sale grannies.
Yes.
Lost again. We need TV credits here.
You know what? Listen, we've got friends in the business, okay? It's kind of a real channel, True TV. And we've got friends in the business.
I don't want to be that guy, but I did have the top 5 TV shows to lure LeBron James back yesterday. And then what happened today?
Well, obviously LeBron back. And you know what?
So D-Bag Dynasty could actually happen.
No, they
Johnny Manziel is excited. I don't know if you saw some of his tweets.
I'm reading the Cleveland Times Tribune, and it says not in Cleveland, scheduled for air on the CW in Cleveland, 2015.
I read the Cleveland Picayune, so
Understood.
Or Picayune.
Yeah,
excuse
Picayune,
me.
yes.
Excuse me, Picayune. So I don't read the other one.
Well,
I didn't get that info.
I digress. We talked about experts, of which we are surely not, but we've talked about experts here on the show, and we talked about Antique Andy, and she actually gave us the inspiration for the whole idea of the garage sale grannies, and what a fun television program that would be. And of course, Antique Andy joining us today. We want to talk about this Babe Ruth baseball, as well as some other cool stuff happening in garage sales. Your neighborhood could be one of them. Andy, thanks for joining the show. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? And I want to send off congratulations to Michael and his beautiful new bride.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Michael and Kat tying the knot. So that's great. I just hope I never trip over a knot that's tied. That's always been my fear. You know, it's going to trip me up somehow.
So, Andy, we saw this article. It's about Babe Ruth's first baseball that was hit out of Yankee Stadium. Obviously, you're not necessarily a baseball expert, but when it comes to, yard sales and garage sales that you go to, how much sports memorabilia are you coming across, and what is the likelihood, of the person maybe having some of that sports memorabilia, not necessarily knowing what it is, and that you maybe coming across that treasure and being able to pick it up?
You'd be surprised how much sports memorabilia is out there. At least once a weekend, whether I go to 10 or 20 garage or estate sales, I usually find 1 or 2 things that are really sports related, and they go back. I mean, they're not brand new because they were brought here when people moved to Las Vegas from the East Coast or the Midwest or even from the West Coast here. You're finding baseball gloves, beautiful old baseball gloves, and some of them are signed. People don't know what they are. They figure, well, they're made in Japan or they're this or they're that, and they're not worth anything. My kid had threw it in the mud puddle, and they are worth. You have to look at them, the stitching, the fit. You find a lot of that. As far as baseballs, there's too much, and I want to say like counterfeit or things. People are picking up baseballs and signing them and practicing how to sign them.
Andy, real quick, you brought something up, and I want to know the distinction and which one's better. So if people are out there that are going to garage sales, when you come across an estate sale, how much better is an estate sale than, let's say, a yard sale, garage sale? What's the biggest difference?
None. It's wording.
So basically, you're going to find similar items. So like when you see an estate sale, you don't go, oh, my God, I can't wait to go. To you, it's just another yard sale, another garage sale.
You're right. And I had to educate somebody this morning on that because they thought my putting the word estate sale, they were going to make, instead of maybe $1,000, about $26,000.
Wow, that's, Andy, we're having a little bit of a hard time here with your phone, but really, really interesting stuff. Again, Andy, you're out there doing garage sales and antique stuff, pretty much all the time. And, of course, we enjoy having you on here on the program. I mean, it's always good to hear, a perspective of somebody that's out there on the ground doing this every day. But let me throw a little something at you here, Chad, about this Babe Ruth baseball. Again, today marks, in case you didn't know, you're not a big sports person, and you didn't know what today is. Today marks the 100th anniversary of Babe Ruth's first professional game. July 11th in 1914, he made his professional baseball debut. And this ball, check this out, is expected to go for a high seven figures. Kevin Golden of Golden Auction said Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball. Okay, and this is recent history. Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball sold for $3 million. And that's
I was way off then. I was way off. $10 million for this baby.
Minimum. I mean, you're thinking, like I'm saying, this is literally priceless. I mean, this is a piece of American history that is, it's something you would find in Buckingham Palace that they stole or looted from a country on imperial conquest.
Let me ask you this. How many hot dogs and cigars did he eat, and cigars did he smoke, and maybe possibly prostitutes he slept with before he hit that home run? I'm saying, 4 hot dogs, 2 cigars, and maybe 2 ladies of the night.
But check this out. This wasn't actually a home run that was in a game. This This home
well, then
run,
I'll change all my figures. Then.
It was more, because this was practice. And he hit this home run during batting practice in 1923 before this was actually before the stadium was actually converted and its build-out was complete. So, I mean, we're talking about...
So this is a home run that he hit while he was building the house that Ruth built.
That's right.
Wow.
Yes.
So that actually makes it worth more, because you would think only an in-game baseball is worth more than a practice ball. A practice ball normally are not worth anything. It's just a ball.
That's right.
But because it was the first one to actually leave the yard,
exactly,
off of Babe Ruth's bat,
exactly,
it gives it value.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you figure after his years in Boston, the folks in New York are so glad to stick it to the folks in Boston. I mean, you almost see somebody like, Giuliani or somebody buying this themselves so that they can be like, you see, we did it again.
Don't make me go down the list of Boston traders, but he does head up that list,
he's
along
big.
with Wade Boggs, Roger Clemens, Jacoby Ellsbury, Johnny Damon. I mean, don't make me go down the whole list, because it irritates me. I hate when I just, being a Red Sox fan, there's nothing worse than losing to the Yankees.
But let me ask you, I mean, Wade Boggs, the end of his career. Roger Clemens, they thought it was the end, but then his steroids bounced him right back up. You know who you guys, Boston fans, if I can recall, most angry about was Johnny Damon. Because Johnny Damon left prime of his career.
And he cut his hair, and he just sold out to the man.
Yeah.
Zero respect for that guy.
It was awful. All right, we look like we've got Andy back on the line here. Andy, thanks for coming back with us. We were having some issues there with your phone.
But don't forget, you're talking to a Yankee fan.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry. Well, Michael's a Yankee fan too.
I knew there was something. I knew there was something about you, Andy, that just drove me crazy, and that's it right there. Now we know what it is.
So, Andy, we're talking about this ball here, and like I just mentioned, Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball went for $3 million. Now, you're talking a piece of history, Andy, something that obviously is already valuable because of how many years it survived. Nearly 100. This ball in 1923 got hit out of the park. But who it was and where they did it. So adding all of that into account, just give us your Antique Andy wildest guesstimate on what this ball might fetch at auction.
I think it'll double what McGuire said.
Okay, $6 million. All right, that's a pretty good estimate. I'd say even fairly conservative, depending on the how much this gets driven up. Because I'm sure, Andy, now when you talk auctions, these aren't just things that you're down at some warehouse or at somebody's house, but these things are happening simultaneous online, live in person. I mean, so the whole world could get in on something like this.
That's right. And you want to know something? Believe it or not, more people, Europeans and Canadians, are buying our sports memorabilia than we are.
I can believe it. Absolutely.
Ever since the Wayne Gretzky trade, that's really it's gone up, I think. Canadians.
You think so?
Yeah, Canadians won in U.S.
Well, either that or
that's just pure speculation. I don't know anything.
But there's so much out there that people don't understand. Programs are bringing big money. Old baseball caps are bringing big money. Old banners are bringing big money. The idea that these trading cards are the big thing, no. You've got to go beyond that now because things are starting to fall out of the attics. You wouldn't believe it.
So, Andy, what's on your hot list when you're going to yard sales and estate sales and garage sales right now? What's on your hot list? What are the things you're looking for?
Something to make money. I don't specialize in anything. I have to rely. I'm going to tell you, I'm going back to when I went to auctioneer school. Look at it once, walk away, go back and look at it twice. You pay for it.
Hold on a second. You went to auctioneer school?
Yes.
Can you do some impromptu auctioneering for us?
Oh, I haven't auctioned in about 20 years. I went to Missouri School of Auctioneering, which at one time, back in the late 60s, was the leading auctioneer school in the world. And we started out, help me God, auctioning cows. And from cows, we went to farm equipment. And from farm equipment, we went to wire that fenced in these cows. And then we, and then we brought it in that. I preferred, once I got out of auctioneer school and got picked up by some other well-known auctioneers, to be their relief person or to learn the business. I preferred to be on the other end. I preferred setting up the auctions. I preferred appraising the auctions.
Andy, unfortunately, that sound in our ear means we have got to step aside, take our final look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. Thanks again to Antique and Andy. When we come back, Chad and I have 10 little-known facts about pawns. Stay with us.
And at 2:45 at the Kid on Wind Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, Interstate 15 southbound. You're still backed up around the Spaghetti Bowl. It starts around Charleston and goes all the way back to the other side of the bowl for a couple of miles. South 15, the Lake Mead off-ramp affected. 15 south at Prim. North 15, a couple of crashes north of St. Rose Parkway, south of Charleston. And 95 northbound, the number 1 and 2 lanes are affected there at Charleston, so you're going to want to stay to the right in the Beltway 215 westbound at Rainbow. For the Kid on Wind Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hi, this is Greg from Jersey Electric, the largest residential solar installer in Las Vegas. We're changing the name of our solar division and launching a new website, which means big offers and more savings for our customers. Call 877-43-SOLAR. That's 877-437-6527 to hear more about our pre-launch specials. We're giving away Kindle Fires along with Sign Today, Save Today event. Don't wait for your PV system to be installed on your roof. Start saving money the day you sign your contract with us. Call 877-43-SOLAR. That's 877-43-SOLAR to hear more about our pre-launch offers. Our PV systems and finance options are custom designed for you and your home, making it quick and easy to gain energy independence. Fix your energy costs today by purchasing a solar system and protect yourself against NV Energy's rising rates by creating cheaper, cleaner power on your roof. Call 877-43-SOLAR. That's 877-437-6527 for your free site survey today. Check out Jersey Electric reviews on Angie's List.
I'm Nicole Sanders, and I'm a cash call mortgage agent. I love my job because I do a ton of loans and save my customers a ton of money. Customers like Jim.
I figured I could refinance and save money, but I kept procrastinating. Finally, I called 855-875-CASH, and in about 5 minutes, Nicole told me how much I could save and how easy the process would be. Best of all, their fee was less than $500.
Because we do so many mortgages, we charge just $495 to close any loan, anytime. And our rates can be much lower than what you've got now, like today's 30-year fixed at 4.125% rate, 4.148 APR.
Cash Call is saving me big bucks every month, plus I pulled $100,000 cash out of my house. I should have called sooner.
I helped Jim, and I'd like to help you too. Call us at 855-875-CASH. That's 855-875-CASH.
Cash Call Inc. Equal Housing Lender. Not licensed in all states. Call 866-900-8744 for terms, restrictions, and licensing. Rates may change without notice. NMLS number 38512.
This is Adam Fenn of Haynes & Krieger Realty. Join me every Thursday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. along with Dustin DeHart of Nova Home Loans as we answer all your real estate questions on the Real Estate and Financial Hour. Every Thursday morning on 720 KDWN.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-371-4467, 800-371-4467.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live, here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney, Michael Mack. Oh, excuse me, Chad Forrester here,
I'm here.
Sitting in for Michael Mack. I keep forgetting. You know what? Sometimes it must be the watch that you're wearing these days. It's so blingy that I'm just like, man, you remind me so much of Michael.
Blingy like chingy, that's what I am. I'd like to thank Antique Andy. That was one of the best Antique Andy segments we've had, and we learned something about Andy. Number one, that she's a Yankee fan, which that's disappointing. But hey, there's a lot of them out there. And number two, that she went to auctioneer school. And number three, that there is such a thing as called auctioneer school. I had no idea. Did you?
Absolutely. Actually, you know what? This is not a joke, but I actually thought about going to auctioneer school.
I didn't know that.
At one time. We had never brought it up. And the reason that I didn't, it's like you talk about an apprenticeship, right? I mean, they basically make you slave away under some auctioneer for years doing like all sorts of odd jobs. And you don't get your auctioneer license, meaning you don't make any money. And I thought, is this really what I want to do with my voice? So I said, no, I joined the circus. It was a good move.
You didn't. Did you seriously join the circus?
No.
Okay, that was a joke.
That was a
it's
joke.
very similar, though. Auctioneering and circusing.
Well, I thought about being a carnival barker or that.
Well, your last name's Carney, so it would make sense. But either way, I thought it was great. I didn't know about auctioneering school. Now I know that. I thought it was kind of fake, like Hamburger College.
Oh, right.
Which maybe isn't fake. Maybe that's real. I don't even know.
Other things that are real that I didn't know before I started working in pro sports, Clown College and Mascot College.
Yeah, those are both surprising.
Those are both really things. And we had a guy after the first Duke that I worked with who was like the best Duke in history. His name was Dave, also great guy. After he left, they had a real void at Duke for a while.
Duke being the mascot for the Wranglers.
mascot, the former mascot for the Wranglers.
Why was it Duke and not a Wrangler-looking guy?
You know what? The questions that you ask make so much sense, and the guy that was in charge of that makes about the least sense of anybody I've ever met.
Who could you be talking about?
You know, I don't even want to say his name.
You probably
it's
shouldn't.
it's like Gandalf or something from what is that, Harry Potter? Oh, we can't say his name. You see, and we even got a special little ting. It's like
cool.
It's like the system knows we're talking about him. But anyways, yeah. See that? That's weirdness.
Angie's
happening.
going EDM in there, man. That's really cool. I got my glow sticks out and I'm going to be dropping some acid later. It's perfect.
Remember, Angie's the public affairs director. This whole, Daisy Carnival thing might have gotten to her.
It could have. That's a good possibility.
I could see Angie out there at one of those places, too. You know, glow stick in hand. Couple of pom-poms, wearing some bright shirts. Angie, that sounds about right.
I think that sounds exactly like Angie, as a matter of fact.
I think it does. But yeah, great stuff there from Antique and Andy, not to be confused with our own Angie, behind the boards. And, interesting to think her assessment of this Babe Ruth ball, about $6 million. I kind of go a little bit higher on this. And like I say, I mean, conservatively, $6 million, absolutely. Something like this, Chad, and we know, I mean, how baseball people are so tied to the past of baseball. It's basically all about the past. It's hardly ever about looking forward. I mean, instant replay. Oh, God, you can't have it. Instant cameras? I mean, is the stadium going to be lit next? I mean, so when we think back to these times, this kind of ball could fetch $10, $15, $20 million. The sky's the limit, in my opinion.
Well, if we use history as a watermark, and we know that Steve Austin the Bionic Man cost $6 million in the 70s.
Thank you.
He would probably cost somewhere around, I would say, $18 million nowadays in today's dollars.
Yes, at least.
I would think that baseball is in the neighborhood of probably $12 million, is what I'm guessing.
You know what? $12 million. We're going to
using the Steve Austin model.
Absolutely. Well, and the rate of inflation for Bionic Men and baseballs have both gone up about 45% per year. So,
well, that's a proven fact. fact.
A proven fact, absolutely.
It was on the CNN, so we know it's true.
Well, anything that's on CNN is true. I just like the names of the people on CNN. Wolf Blitzer. It sounds like a call that you're going to make from the line of scrimmage. We got a Wolf Blitzer here. 32-45.
Should be a sports, guy is who he should be.
That
he should be
absolutely
like a play-by-play. Wolf Blitzer with play-by-play.
Well, he tried out, but being 3'4" apparently is a hindrance even on ESPN. They're just like, no, we can't have it. No soapboxing over at this station.
Hey, Wolf Blitzer, solid beard though.
That's
if you're
right.
going to rate beards, he's up there.
Got to be, and one of the last holdouts of beards on air too. I mean, beards in HD TV haven't really fared too well here. Beards can look kind of nasty in HD. All right, moving on here. Speaking of other stuff that you might not have known or probably didn't know at all, Chad and I were able to put together top 10 things that you did not know, most likely, about pawn shops. Chad, number 10 here on the list, stolen items, and I guess this is going to be one that most people do know because Michael talks about it all the time. One of the biggest risks a pawnbroker takes is taking in stolen items, but you really don't have to worry about that at pawn shops like you might think that you do. Either A, buying stolen goods, or B, bringing stolen goods in here, because most of the time, the computer systems that these guys use now, the Bravo systems, whatever ones that they use, they run it through a little scanner. It's hooked up with police in every municipality. It has to be, and they can determine right away if this thing's been reported stolen. So stolen items, not a big concern.
Yeah, so if you're a crook, don't be one of those dumb crooks and be on one of those lists that some morning show talks about, because if you take it to a pawn store, you're going to get busted.
That's right, and we'll put together a list too. You know what? We're a big list guy. We're going to do top 10 dumbest criminal moments at pawn shops. That's going to be for next week.
How about top 10 schools you had no idea existed, like Clown College and Auctioneer School?
I like that. Now we're already breaking that down, though. Can we throw that back in the list?
Sure we can.
Okay, cool. As long as it's topical. You're the boss. All right, here, number 9, Queen Isabella and Christopher Columbus. Now, this is something that I thought was fantastically fascinating. A lot of folks think that Christopher Columbus got over here on Queen Isabella of Spain's dime, that he got her jewels or some money from the jewels that the Queen had. Apparently, Chad, Queen Isabella was already in hock. Those things were in pawn.
So technically, that is true. It just happened earlier it didn't happen exactly right at the same time.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. The story is different.
So really, the discovery of America really came down to an original pawn store.
That's right.
That's amazing. I think there's probably a lot of people that didn't know that.
Although,
let's be honest,
I didn't know that.
Columbus didn't really discover
it. Not at all.
He wasn't the first guy here, by the way.
I know. You know what they're telling us up there? The Viking cruises are still happening. They're like, no, we've been having Viking cruises last 750 years.
Actually, they actually pawned skulls to get here, so that all relates somehow.
We talked about that in the first topic. Way to wrap it back in. This is why you're the man. Number 8 here, Pawn Stars. Now, why are we saying Pawn Stars on top 10 things you might not have known about? Well, this is one that you probably did know about. History Channel's Pawn Stars is probably the best thing that ever happened to the pawn industry. Here's something, though, that you might not realize about these guys on Pawn Stars. They cannot even operate in their own place of business anymore. So Rick, Chumley, the old man, they can't be Pawn Stars. They can't actually evaluate items. And the reason is because the cameras that are there on location, they invade the privacy of the other customers, and that is a pawn rule. You can't do that, obviously, without everybody's consent, and most of these people are not consenting to things like that. So everything on Pawn Stars, you say reality TV, every single thing is scripted and staged.
Like every reality show.
Absolutely.
That's one of the most disappointing things to find out about reality shows, which, if you were paying attention, you found out in the early 90s when we first started coming up. This isn't real.
I know. All right, well, we're running through these because we're running out of time. Number 7, the patron saint of pawnbrokers. You would not believe who this is, St. Nicholas. Now, the story goes that St. Nick had to save some young girls back in his home country and did this by dropping off gold that helped pawn or buy the dowry for these young ladies. So kind of an interesting story there, but Santa Claus is actually the patron saint who's real. Obviously, he's real. Now, Santa Claus and St. Nick is also the patron saint of repentant thieves, the falsely accused, children's, and pharmacists. I don't know how they made it into that. Number 6, high-end pawn shops. Michaels, others like it, taking over the country. Number 5, the Wes Welker Butterfingers incident. Pawn store back in, I guess it was in New York, bought up a whole bunch of Butterfingers and dropped them over New England, and they did not take to that. Number 4, the most often pawned item, jewelry, obviously gold, silver. The pawn symbol is gold spheres hanging from a bar. Reclaiming merchandise is easy. And Pop Goes the Weasel, the song, is actually referring to somebody popping the weasel, their jacket, and having to go. We're out of here.
All around the cobbler's bench, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought that was so much fun. Pop goes the weasel.
The best protection is early detection. 21st Century Oncology of Las Vegas wants you to find out more about cancer risks through regular screenings. Our expert team of physicians provides those facing a cancer diagnosis with state-of-the-art radiation therapy and the most sophisticated, compassionate care available. 21st Century Oncology provides the only centers in Las Vegas treating the whole person, not just the cancer, using integrative medicine to optimize cancer outcomes and minimize side effects. To learn more, call 877-833-6531.
You've loved them on Fridays and missed them on Mondays. Not anymore. The boss just threw them 4 more days. Yeah! Live in Las Vegas with Dave and Chad kicks off your afternoon Monday through Friday from 2 to 3 here on News Talk 720 KDWN. The dawn of today's talk radio. News Talk 720 KDWN. Keep your dial on News Talk 720 KDWN and always streaming online at KDWN.com. 50,000 watts of news and talk. News Talk 720 KDWN, where locals come to talk. News Talk 720 KD.